Are you seeing what's happening right now? Are you seeing this? This is like nothing else. And here, I don't know where you are, but in my country, the mainstream media, they don't know what to do about this. I mean, they have no idea what to do about this. They're talking about everything but this. Everything about, I mean, Savannah Guthrie's mother, bless her heart. That's front page. The snow, the ice, Puxatawny Phil, that's the front page. They are freaking out. Stop. Look at the pattern, not the headline, not the spin. Look at the pattern, because what is happening right now is not random. It's not coincidence. It's not just another, controversial story. We have been waiting for this for what? 10, 20 years? I mean, this Epstein thing has been going on for the longest time. Look at this. Look at the pattern of what's happening. Because what is happening right now is so phenomenally, it's blowing up. It's not coincidence. Not another story. Have you heard what they're saying? Have you heard what they're discussing? I can't even use the words. But they've been things that we've been telling you forever. And we were told we were crazy. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Certain code words. They're still using this on emails. These geniuses who have connections with all of these folks from the intel world. You would think somebody would say, "What are you writing this down for?" This is information pressure building across multiple fault lines, and it's suddenly venting at one place, and they don't know what to do. They are freaking out. Look at me. Look at the number of people, the influencers, who aren't saying anything about this. They're on the take. They're being paid. You can tell who was being paid by who's not commenting. How can you not comment on the biggest story around? How? Look whose name also is in there. Hunter Biden? What? Wait a minute. What? How does this thing work? And no matter what you say, the people that are involved are just who we thought. And it runs right through, yes, it runs right through Candace Owens, through the Macron media panic, through Epstein fallout, through the reopening of topics that were once digitally quarantined and socially radioactive, third rail stuff. Oh, it's just beautiful. And here's the best part they don't want said out loud. When one narrative wall cracks, the others start shaking. You saw it with Epstein. One case reopened public appetite for asking forbidden questions about elite protection networks, media silence, prosecutorial immunity, and power insulation. Look at me. The energy doesn't politely stop at one name. It spreads. You ain't seen nothing yet. And you've heard his name mentioned before. Not like this. Now enter the Macron situation. Notice how I say that. What is actually happening is not proof of anything. What is happening is public curiosity colliding with this kind of an institutional panic. Emmanuel and Brigitte Macron have been dragged into online discourse, not because facts were proven, but because the firewall, the blood-brain barrier that once stopped speculation is gone now. And governments do not fear truth alone. They fear uncontrolled conversation. That is why they are telling the Macrons, you settle with Candace now. Dismissal with prejudice, some de minimis settlement, I don't care. Make this stop. Because when she starts talking about unique alleged relationships and this age gap, it's going to bring up this Epstein all over again. And we don't want that, do we? Stop it. Settle it. Not only that, the boneheaded move of these people to clamp down on regular people just talking. They fear narrative escape velocity. Watch how quickly lawsuits appear, and watch how fast defamation threats fly. And watch the sudden urgency, the urgency to frame questions as extremism or hate or disinformation, the usual suspects. See, this is not about protecting reputations. This is about trying to restore silence, and they don't know what to do. And they're asking themselves, why did you put this in emails? Why? These code words. Remember the FBI PDF? Remember the FBI code word list? I'm not going to say it now. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. And they're using the same words. Hey, I got 4 croissant. Yeah, me too. Do you like it with or without cream? What are... This isn't fooling anybody. They feel like they're safe, that they suffer some kind of impunity, some vaccinations against disclosure. Now connect that to Candace. For years, she has walked directly into topics most commentators wouldn't even touch. Not because they were false, but because they were costly. Gender medicine and youth policy and institutional hypocrisy and selective outrage and elite immunity culture. She normalized confrontation with taboo. She knew it. She knew that that's what matters more than any single claim because it trained audiences to stop flinching. She did this. And that cultural shift is the real danger to power. Big time. Because now, when Epstein surfaces again, and these millions of pages and millions of the weirdest emails, you haven't seen them. You haven't seen them. People don't whisper when this happens. They connect the dots. See, it's one thing to have the data, but in order to have, the constellations or the picture or the synthesis, you've got to connect the dots, connect the metadata. And they reopen old names. They re-examine old emails. They revisit sealed stories, and they ask why certain figures always vanish from coverage while others dominate cycles. They ask why scandals get permanent airtime and others get memory hold in 48 hours. How does that happen? And here is the strange part that everyone notices, but few say. Certain people are conspicuously absent from this new wave, at least now. Maybe they're buried in parts of the 3 million pages or whatever it is. But the usual political punching bags are not the center of the storm. Why is that? And that's not because they're saints or they've cleaned up their act. It's because the public focus has shifted towards structural protection networks instead of little partisan theater. They're tired of that. They're going to go for the big dogs. Now let's talk about the platform shift, because without that, none of this happens. Elon Musk didn't just buy a social media company. He completely and totally disrupted information gatekeeping. X didn't just magically become perfect, but it removed friction. It reduced suppression. It loosened the chokehold. It let freedom ring. And that alone changed the ecosystem. I hate that word. The search terms that once triggered instant throttling now circulate openly. Conversations once buried under policy enforcement now survive long enough to gain momentum. And that doesn't make claims true, but it makes debate possible. And debate terrifies centralized narrative control. Now, watch the influencer class. The big brand safe voices. Remember those? The big shots. The monetization optimized commentators. You know who they are. The ones who build careers inside algorithm comfort zones. The ones who are paid off. The ones who are on the grift. The ones who are owned by various powers. They're suddenly quiet. They're calculating risk. They're following orders. Because new information environment we have right now is volatile. Say the wrong thing and advertisers flee. or your benefactor goes south. Stay silent and relevance fades. They're trapped between money and momentum. They don't know what to do. And my dear friend, that silence is revealing. Now, zoom out again. This is not about Satanism as a literal movement. It's not about ritual myths. It's about power symbolism, abuse allegations, elite misconduct, institutional shielding. And the same pattern to get across governments and corporations and entertainment and NGOs. This is what we're seeing. Big names. And all of a sudden you're responding the same way. Wait a minute. Oh, foreign orphanages? Wait, where have I heard this? Romania? Haiti? Yeah. They follow a pattern, don't they? And what a better way to recruit kids than orphanages. Foreign. With kids from places you've never heard of. They don't have birth certificates, don't have records. See, all of this is amazing. The names change, but the architecture stays the same. Oh, I hope your stomach can handle it. Power protects itself through silence first, through ridicule second, through legal pressure third. And then, if that doesn't work, through emotional blackmail. You are watching all of these methods deployed in real time. And here is where it gets really dangerous for them. Here is where it gets dangerous. The public is no longer waiting for permission to notice patterns. Remember, what we're seeing right now with Epstein is going to go on for another 6 months. They are cross-referencing on their own. They are archiving. They are screenshotting. They are preserving receipts before they disappear. That is a new phenomenon. That did not exist at this scale 10 years ago, which means damage control. Damage control strategies that apparently are outdated. You can't debunk curiosity. You can't fact-check suspicion into submission. You cannot litigate millions and millions of decentralized conversations like this. You can't stop us. The only solution they have left is exhaustion. Flood the zone, distract, overwhelm, change topics, manufacture new outrage cycles, threaten, intimidate. But the momentum is building anyway. What you're seeing right now with the Epstein files is like nothing I've ever seen. This is why litigation threats escalate. This is why governments now tighten speech laws. Look at what the Macrons did in France, which hurt them, which is stupid. This is why online moderation rules suddenly update. This is why financial pressure gets applied, quietly behind the scenes. Not because truth has won, no, but because control is slipping. They're losing control and they're freaking out. These files should have never seen the light of day. How did this happen? Who was responsible? Trump. And here's the real takeaway. This is not about heroes. It's not about Candace, not about Musk, not about any single figure. This is about structural change in how information moves. Once people realize that they don't need gatekeepers to ask questions, once they realize that, the system never fully recovers. They don't know what to do. Expect rather more accusations, expect more leaks, expect more reopened cases, and expect more public skepticism. More media hysteria about dangerous discourse. That phrase is code. Dangerous to whom exactly? Not dangerous to citizens, not dangerous to us, but dangerous to monopolized message authority. Now, the next 6 months will not be calm. They will be chaotic and loud and messy and uncomfortable, and I can't wait. And revealing. Get ready. Because when you see what's happening, you're not going to believe what you see. Because when silence breaks, everything connected to it shakes loose. And keep in mind one thing also, which is critical. We have right now, for the first time, AI to help sit through millions and millions of pages of this. AI can do this. AI can categorize and shelve and cross-reference everything that was done. Everybody who's mentioned, how they were mentioned, why they were mentioned. And there's going to be a lot of people involved in this. Please don't call for prosecutions. Please don't call for prosecutions. What we are seeing right now isn't going to be the call for prosecutions. This is going to be the call for control. And we're going to use our power, our ability, our microphone, our megaphone to tell these people that we know what they're doing, to make them pay, to let them know. Use our influence accordingly. That's all. My friends, I thank you. Thank you for this. What do you think? What do you think? Where do we go from here? What's next? I want to hear from you so much. I would love to hear your comments. I have a series of questions for you to follow immediately thereafter. Thank you so much for following me. Thank you much for following my wife at Lynn's Warriors. And let's hear from you. I want to hear, what do you think? Where is this going? Oh, I can't wait. Now comment as you see fit.